All right, Bill O'Reilly is joining us right now on the line. Hello, Bill.
Hey, guys.
Great job with the president, Super Bowl Sunday. You've interviewed him a couple of times. Before the cameras went on, what was his demeanor and reaction to sitting down with you?
I have a pretty good relationship with him. We talk about sports and, stuff like that, history. He likes to talk about former presidents. So I don't talk to him about any policy until the cameras roll.
Bill, did it surprise you at all that the president actually said that you were unfair to him? The headlines seemed to think that you were tough on him, thought you did a good job, I did as well, but that you were fair, overall fair. We have a sound from that moment that we want everyone to hear.
You think I'm unfair to you? Do you think I've been giving
Absolutely, of course you are, Bill. But I like you anyway, though.
Okay, but give me how I'm unfair.
But look.
Give me how I'm unfair. Come on, you can make that accusation without telling me.
Bill, we just went through an interview in which he asked about healthcare not working, IRS, were we wholly corrupt, Benghazi. Right. So the list of issues that you talk about.
But these are unanswered questions.
But they're defined by you guys in a certain way. But here's what you guys are going to have to figure out is what are you going to do when I'm gone? I'm telling you.
Our ratings were high when you weren't here.
Oh, man.
I've been a big money President Clinton. All right, and President Bush. I gave President Bush a real hard time.
Bill, from my perspective, just from watching that, I think you were surprised that he said that he does not believe you've been fair with him.
Well, I think that he wasn't talking about just the interview itself. He was talking about Fox News Channel and the factor overall. But, I'm always interested to hear why people think they're not getting a fair shake. And I learned a lot about Barack Obama on Sunday. He just doesn't believe that the stories and the questions that we brought up, even though I did tell him, look, these are unanswered situations. They are still undefined. He doesn't believe that they're that important. It's as simple as that. He sees himself as doing a good job for the country. His vision is good. It'll all work out. People will appreciate him down the line, almost like President Bush when he was embattled over the war on terror and the Iraq War. He said, look, history is going to acquit me. That's how President Obama feels, and it's an annoyance to him that I ask him questions and that Fox News concentrates on these stories because he himself doesn't believe they're important.
That's right. He's been listening to a lot of people on the left who say, oh, those are just phony scandals.
Sure.
Just cooked up by those nitwits over at Fox.
Right.
Was that the most shocking moment for you?
It wasn't shocking. I mean, the president is very self-assured. He is a true believer in his policies. And even though the country is now, according to the polling, turned against his policies, at least temporarily, he's staying the course.
Something I thought, and we've got another soundbite for the folks to hear if they missed this last night on The Factor. I thought it was great the way you brought up how you and Barack Obama come from two very different places where what used to be considered sensible is now considered liberal. You're a do-it-yourself kind of guy. Here's the exchange.
I think that you are much more friendly to a nanny state than I am. I'm more of a self-reliance guy. You're more of a big government will solve your problems guy.
And
that's it.
And I disagree with that because I think that what used to be considered sensible, we now somehow label as liberal. Think about it. Social Security, Medicare.
But you're paying into that. It's the freebies that are the problem.
What freebies are we talking about? The welfare actually is worth less now than it was 20, 30 years. It's worth less than it was under Ronald Reagan.
Take a look at the disability explosion. I mean, it's insane. The workplace isn't any more dangerous now than it was 20 years ago. It's through the roof. People are conning you.
Bill, the point is we have not massively expanded the welfare state. That's just not true.
When he said we have not massively expanded the welfare state, how could coffee not shoot out through your nose? I mean, that is just not true.
Well, it's a theoretical, and I wanted to stay away from that, but I had to hit him with the disability because if you want to point to something that is undeniable, it's the explosion of disability payments in this country because, as I pointed out, the workplace is safer than it was 20 years ago. Then what are all these people getting paid for? if you go into welfare, he'll go into recession. It's not my fault. I had to bail these people out. They're dying. If you go into unemployment, he's going to go there. He's going to use the economic maladies as a justification. But if you go to something like disabilities, where that's somebody who is going into the government saying, look, I can't do this. Give me money. And the government says, sure.
Yeah.
And doesn't check it out.
Right.
And everybody knows it. That's what I said. You're getting conned like crazy.
Right.
But again, it all goes back to the fact that he doesn't see this stuff as a welfare state. He sees it as necessary.
And that's the one thing that I don't get. That's an issue. It's not his fault. It's not his administration's fault. Disability is exploding. That's where you focus on 60 minutes to 30 minutes on just the disability explosion in this country right now. And there would be apolitical and help our economy. But yet he doesn't see it that way. And unfortunately, we got 3 more years of this.
Well, and the country's divided as well. You did the unthinkable, though, Bill. You united everyone in terms of how they felt about the interview. It was certainly fair. It was tough. And you followed up on a number of points with him that Americans deserve answers on.
Well, I don't know if everybody felt that way. I'm glad you do,
the majority,
Elizabeth.
the majority of people thought you were fair.
And we'll do this tonight on The Factor. I was watching the cable competition last night, and the usual suspects are going, a Republican. The Associated Press, their headline of the interview was, President Obama defends himself from Republican charges.
Yeah.
It's like these aren't questions that all Americans should be interested in? No, just Republicans should be. And it's just they'll never be honest about it. But I think we all, this is a big interview, obviously, and everybody in the country is talking about it. Right. But I think we should give Barack Obama a little credit for doing it.
Absolutely.
Sure.
He didn't have to do it, and he knows when he comes in with me, as everyone does, that I'm going to ask what I want to ask.
Right. He had a good time, he said.
That's why you're number one cable.
And that's why I don't do the show. I do not want to answer your questions. Bill O'Reilly, glad to see you tonight at 8.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me in.
We'll see you then, Bill.
Bye.
Coming up.